My name is Paul Overland, and I'd like to welcome you to this study of wisdom literature in the Hebrew Bible. This lecture will give us a brief overview of the syllabus. I encourage you to read it carefully on your own, in addition to the information that you'll receive through this video. Under course description, you'll notice that while we will provide an initial introduction to all the wisdom literature books of the Hebrew Bible, our primary concentration will be on the book of Proverbs in this particular iteration of the course. For textbooks, you'll want to obtain a copy of Michael Fox's 2-volume commentary on the book of Proverbs. This is one of the best in the field. Professor Fox from University of Wisconsin has basically spent a lifetime working in Proverbs. He is a Jewish scholar with immense insight in this very, very important book. The volume by Roland Murphy, called The Tree of Life, will serve us as a general introduction to the various books of wisdom in the Hebrew Bible. It's a paperback, a brief volume. As far as a copy of Scripture, please work from a modern translation, even though you may, for other purposes, liturgical reading or private devotions, use an older translation. Please, for the purposes of this course, employ a modern translation. You see several options offered in this syllabus. Please read carefully the information concerning attendance, late assignments, and extensions. Under item C, assignments, I've learned that some students get into trouble by waiting to the end of a given week before attempting to complete that week's material. Particularly when we're dependent on technology, this can get us in hot water. So please get in the habit of working on your assignments early. That way, if you hit a snag, you can contact the tech division of Ashland University and get things ironed out. Also notice that, unless otherwise indicated, all assignments must be submitted digitally, and the due date, week by week, is midnight of the Sunday in the week that they are listed. So we envision the academic week running from Monday to Monday. Consequently, unless otherwise indicated, material is due at the end of that week, which means Sunday night. 6 elements comprise the learning opportunities assigned for this course. The first will occur pretty much on a weekly basis. And here you'll be presented with study questions, asked to draft a 2 to 3 paragraph response. And this should be substantial. It shouldn't be just in a chatty type of format. But think it over, draft it in Word apart from the actual submission format, then drop it into the submission format. Now, for these weekly study questions, since we want action and interaction, it means that you'll need to submit these by midnight of Wednesday each week, not Saturday, Wednesday. That's because I want us to have each other reading what others have posted to facilitate discussion. And that discussion then will happen after you post on Wednesday night. So Thursday through Saturday, people will have a chance to read what you've read and you read what others have read. So it's a 2-part post and then response. The first post needs to be then by midnight of Wednesday each week. What should you respond to? Pick one other student and in 3 to 5 sentences respond how you interact with what they have posted. Perhaps you have a question. Perhaps something was unclear, or you resonate, or perhaps you disagree. Obviously with courtesy, but simply engage it as discussion, such as you would do in a face-to-face classroom format. Do notice that since these are of a weekly sort, the weekly study question forums cannot be posted late. There's no credit for late posting. It must be done in a timely fashion, week by week by week. The second avenue for learning then is weekly video lectures, and here I will be providing you with recorded lectures that will take us through the material assigned for that week. You will either indicate your grasp of the material by submitting an outline as if you were taking notes in class. Turn in those notes. Alternatively, occasionally there may be quizzes that will be generated based on the lecture material, and you would be asked to take a quiz in lieu of submitting outline notes. The default will be outline notes, so just plan to type up notes on the video lectures week by week. The third element that you see is a reading report. The reading report will amount to 800 pages of reading, and that will include both your reading of the biblical wisdom material and then collateral reading. And this includes the textbooks for the course and any research reading that you execute for the course. More instructions concerning the reading report will be given later. A primary learning tool will involve the writing of an exegetical paper. The conclusion of the syllabus gives some detailed instructions for that. Fifth is a theme paper. Please read the description here. And then finally, a take-home final exam that will be essay style. Under letter D, you can get a sense of what percentage of the final grade will be awarded for a given assignment. Section 4, you'll want to pay close attention to the tentative course schedule. The way this works is that it maps out what you should be working on during the given week. So, for our first week, the topics that the lectures will address will be an introduction to all of the wisdom books, and then additional lectures that focus on Proverbs 1 and 2. In addition to reading Proverbs 1 and 2, you'll also want to read over the first 2 chapters of Murphy's book, and then pick up the first volume of Fox's commentary on Proverbs. Read the introduction and his treatment of those first 2 chapters of Proverbs. That should be completed by the end of the first week of study. Continue that process through successive weeks, and you'll be able to keep pace with the lectures and assignments of the course. Notice that the theme paper is due by the end of week 8. The exegetical paper is due by the end of week 13. Please note that carefully. It's not due at the end of the course, but by the end of week 13. Then you will have the take-home essay exam that will be distributed for week 15 and due at the end of that week. Similarly, the reading report will be due at the end of week 15. As we come to section 7, you'll see a link to a bibliography and some other information concerning resources, particularly regarding Proverbs, that you'll find useful. Section 8 enlarges on some of the instructions given earlier. Please study these over and let me know if you have any questions on them. And here you see the detailed instructions for the exegetical paper. A careful structure is provided for this paper to take some of the guesswork out of this important assignment. I do ask that your paper would use the same headings as are shown here. So, for example, your first section should bear the heading Introduction, and within that you'll want to state the topic and scope of this paper and what attracted you to the given passage. Your second major heading would be labeled Literary Context, and you see a rough approximation of the number of pages that this should command within your paper. Subpoint A will only apply if you're taking this course at the 700 level, but everyone should complete subpoints B and C, and go ahead and use a heading to announce those separate subsections. Please explore the links that are provided here to give you samples of the various elements that are requested. Section 3 will be headed Historical Context. This should be a familiar exercise based on your skill developed in hermeneutical courses, such as engaging texts and contexts. Similarly with Section 4, the Theological Context, please be careful to include each of the 3 subpoints that are listed there. And then Section 5 should begin with the heading Conclusion. That wraps up our overview of the syllabus. Feel free to forward any questions to me. I look forward to our study together.